Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM19 story, The Head Coach with me, Daniel. It's Season 7, Episode 9, and today we meet our brand new set of youngsters in the youth intake before playing an FA Cup quarter-final away to Arsenal. We've come back a game or two later than we said we were going to, but that's because we love the domestic cups and we want to show as much as possible. Who wants to see mid-table mediocrity when you can see a potential winning place at Wembley? But let's have a look at the league table first. With 13 points clear of relegation now, things have really come together in recent weeks. We were down there struggling for quite a while, and then suddenly we've gone on a run, which has essentially coincided with us scoring goals. So since you were with me, we've had the end of the transfer window. Our director of football has done some wonderful things for this club, and it's not the fact that he's a great director of football and if we had a great budget he could do wonderful things. It's the fact that he's clever. He knows the transfer market inside out, and he's working well to get world-class players in, or really good ones with high potential. So he mentioned Marin Grange in the last episode, but let's deal with those that have gone through first. Obviously Muto was pre-agreed to leave, and Rebic I believe left before the last episode, but we did sign one player on deadline day, Ezri Konza. He's a centre-half, a 27-year-old Englishman. He came in from Blackburn Rovers, 3.5 star ability, 3.5 potential, a really solid player. He's covering at right back at the moment as Matadeu's out for the season, but is equally comfortable as a ball-playing centre-half. It meets with our philosophy of playing good football, and it just shows you he's thought about our tactical position and tried to get in a man that will fit with our setup. So a wonderful signing he is, and he's got at least 3 or 4 good years as a Premier League player. If we go to the transfer centre though, we've got to mention this lad, Mauro Oliveira, an attacking midfielder he's agreed to sign on a free from Boa Vista, a number 10, and look at him, he's really good. Physically he's exceptional, technically he's really strong in the areas he needs to be, and mentally he's okay too. To get this guy on a free is absolutely amazing, and what's more, he's only on a contract I think for around 30,000 a week. I'm just going to look, 26.5 grand on a 5-year deal. If we put that into comparison with the rest of our squad, go to the contract offers on the first screen here. Only Lavinas out of the first team is earning less than that at the moment, which shows just how well he's doing regenerating the squad with younger players, talented players, and players that want to play football, not just sit and earn money. Absolutely brilliant, and I'm delighted he'll be joining. He nearly pulled off another one as well. Unfortunately, the player chose an alternative option. I'm going to show you who it was. It was on a free from Real Madrid, and it was one of their young strikers who looked unbelievable. This guy, Pedro, he's chosen to go to Lille instead, but to give you an idea of how good our director of football is, he was trying to get this guy on a free as well, and if he'd pulled both of those off, we wouldn't have even needed a transfer budget in the summer. But wonderful work from him. If we go and look at the results since you were last with me, you can see why things have turned around. We saw the win against Chelsea in the second leg of the Carabao Cup, which wasn't quite enough to get us through to the final. We lost on aggregate but did a brilliant job in the game. We won 3-0 at home to Leicester of the Championship in the FA Cup 4th round. Lavinas, Seferovic and then Wilson off the bench scoring again after he ended his goal drought in that Chelsea match. And then a 2-0 win at home to Bournemouth in the league. Riedewald coming into the side because of an injury. He did brilliantly and got a goal. And Alex Iwobi scoring another as well. Then at home to Arsenal we won 2-1. Wilson and Iwobi with the goals after we went down early on. And we were absolutely brilliant in that game. Really gave a showing to a top half team. Arsenal aren't quite the force they were in real life, and they're not a top 6 side. They're down in 9th place with Bournemouth, but it was still an excellent performance and achievement to beat them. We then won the crucial game 2-0 away at Wolves. Wilson and Iwobi again. You can see they've hit form, they're scoring goals regularly, and we're winning games as a result. And perhaps more importantly, over the last 10 games or so, look how few goals we've conceded. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 clean sheets there since that Stoke game. Really good work from the lads, and only conceded 4 goals in the process. But obviously rejecting the Wolves job made this one more important, and we got the comfortable win, and that was when we really pulled away from the relegation zone. We then won 1-0 in the FA Cup 5th round. Obviously no replays this time, so it went straight to extra time. Jamal Lascelles scoring on his comeback from injury. What a wonderful achievement that is to get us to this Arsenal tie today. And then we lost 2-1 away to Manchester United. You'd probably expect it. Munas Daba got the goal for us, a man you might not recognise. He was one out on loan, but when we didn't get any attacking players in January, I decided to recall him just so he had an extra option. A really decent player, very clearly over the hill physically, but still knows exactly where to put himself to get the best chance of a goal. We then won 2 back-to-back games 1-0, firstly at home to Everton via a Gylfi Sigurdsson penalty, and then in the last game against Spurs, where we were hugely aided by a red card early on. They had a man sent off after 20 minutes, Callum Wilson scored just after the break, then Jamal Lewis got sent off for a stupid tackle too, but luckily we managed to cling on. So we go into this one with plenty of confidence, but it will depend largely on our youth intake today. It could change my mood dramatically. Although the episodes will be coming out on completely different days, I'm going to be recording this one and then the episode from Part of the Furniture where we have our youth intake too, so it could be a very deflating day for me or an absolutely brilliant one. Let's go and have a look then. Let's not hold it up anymore. I haven't looked at the message yet. It says one of the most gifted to come through in recent years. That's normally an okay one. I'm just trying to pick out Martin Chapman and see what position he is. He's a defender from Essex, Billericay. Let's have a look and see what they're like. Meet the team. Oh, he's 2-star ability already. That's not bad at all. He's not got the highest potential in the world, but according to this, he should be good enough to cover at right back. And as we mentioned, it's a position we're playing a centre-half at the moment. So let's look at Martin Chapman. He looks very good. Resolute personality, 2-star ability, you can see why. And I'm going to get him a contract and get him some games because he looks a properly good talent. I hope they've misjudged the potential and he can actually reach a better standard than that. Let's just see if there's anyone else about who's got a good judgment. They're all saying about the same, aren't they? So unfortunately I don't think there's any more in him, but that's still certainly a good Premier League standard. So we'll make sure he gets a contract as soon as possible. When we finish this one we'll go and offer it. There was one other player in there with decent potential. That was Benjamin Hewitt. He's a young striker, a pressing forward, and he looks a decent player and well-rounded where he needs to be. He's just probably not quite going to reach Premier League standard. Could certainly be a pro, maybe in League One or the Championship. But a really good youth intake and plenty of promise there. We're not going to worry about the rest as they're probably not good enough, but I'm really pleased that we've got one quality player coming through. Let's look at the other 2 messages quickly. An under-18s game we don't need to worry about. That's against the youth candidates. And in Maidenhead trying to sign someone, I don't know why we're seeing that. Let's make sure they're not on our short list. We don't need to be worrying about that in this series. That's a good start to the episode then. Plenty of positive news, and we'll be back in a second with our FA Cup quarter-final. Okay, we're back. It's FA Cup quarter-final time. We've beaten Arsenal once in recent weeks. We've mentioned they're not quite the force they once were, but hopefully we'll be able to do well today. I'm sure with home advantage they'll be favourites, but we'll still fancy our chances. We've got a little bit of an injury crisis, combined with a cup-tied problem. So Jamal Lewis, the left-back, suspended. Matiju, the right-back, is out with a broken hip. Konsa's cup-tied, as is Dabor, and it means we've got a youngster on the bench. Unfortunately, it's not Chapman as he hasn't yet agreed his contract. We're still waiting for him to accept that, so at the moment he's still a trialist. They've just got Rabiot out, so they're certainly the favourites for this one. They haven't won in 5, whereas we've won 4, but they're still the favourites, which shows you how strong they are. We've gone for a slight tactical tweak today. The last time we played away to a big side, which was United, I think, a couple of weeks back, we played with our normal formation and we just got picked off down the right-hand side. So as a result, I've dropped Danilo back. He's going to cover that right wing for us. So when they're attacking down the right-hand side, especially now with our backup fullback, we've got a little bit of protection. We've got young Declan Greenwood on the bench. He's a youngster from the under-23s. Not got amazing potential, but he's an okay footballer. And if we get 2 injuries at the back, he'll find himself on the pitch. We would play Otamendi, but just look at the state of his physicals. They keep going down. And the one game he played since I've been here, he got a terrible rating against Liverpool. So let's get into the match then. We've got Raya in goal. Klein and Ricker are the fullbacks as everyone else is out injured, cup-tied or suspended. Lascelles and Congolo are in the middle as always. Danilo joins Douglas Luiz in the holding role. And then we've got Sigurdsson, Iwobi and Arzani as a 3-man strike partnership behind Callum Wilson. Let's see if they can do anything special as we get into their game, and fingers crossed we can get a result. A very defensive 4-5-1 from Arsenal. They've still got some of their familiar names. Leno's in goal, Xhaka, Maitland-Niles, Reece Nelson, who's out on loan in the Bundesliga in real life, Hector Bella in the fullback, plenty of good stars there. So it's going to be a tough game, but let's just see if we can get a result. Why not? We're going to tell the lads to prove a point. What more could possibly go wrong? Most of them are motivated. We think we'll be fine with a couple of players suspended. We've still got a fairly strong side out. It's just whether we can get on the front foot but if we get in the ascendancy in this game, we know how vulnerable Arsenal are at the back. Arzani on the right, crosses towards Wilson, headed away early on. Danilo gets the ball and gives it away. Not a good first touch from him. If he's not impressive in the first half, we can always go back to Rivera in the second. It's Bellerin on the right with a throw-in for Arsenal. Their first attack of the match now. Maitland-Niles to McDonough. Nelson on the right wing. Are they going to get a ball into the box at any point? They've gone back again to Maitland-Niles. He's waiting for another man on the edge in Xhaka. We know he can shoot from there, but he goes short to Vargas. Xhaka finds Maitland-Niles, but it's straight at Raya from the edge of the box, and Federico Rica can bring it away on the left. Danilo gets the ball inside to Iwobi. Scored against his former club a few weeks back, and we'd love him to do the same today. Wilson's been drawn wide, but he gets it to Sigurdsson. Goes for the shot. Great save by Leno. We know Sigurdsson's got that in his locker. Even at 35, he's not the most mobile now, but he can still get a shot away and take a set piece. It's headed away this time though, and Vargas clears down the left for McDonough. He charges at the defender. They're trying to hold him up. I think it's Nathaniel Klein, but he doesn't do enough. But luckily the cross is poor, and we've headed it away easily. It's Bellerin on the right hand side, but the highlight ends quickly followed by a corner. Jimenez over the bar. We're still surviving, but it's been a very lively first 5 minutes. We're back with Sigurdsson 30 yards out to Danilo. Danilo again in the middle for us. He finds Douglas Luiz. Arzani puts Callum Wilson in, but he's straight at Leno. A poor finish really, considering he's been in good form. Unfortunately, we couldn't put that either side of the keeper. Raya's got the ball out again though. We're building from the back with Lascelles to Douglas Luiz. Doing really well in that Segundo Volante role, but the long ball over the top to Wilson's poor. And then Leno chooses to kick for some reason. Luiz wins it back for Iwobi, and now we can create another attack. Luiz inside to Arzani. He's got the fullback if he wants in support, but instead they've gone back inside with Danilo and Luiz. The two there just getting caught on the ball a little bit. We don't seem to be moving forward quite as quickly. Are we finally going to get it wide now? Nathaniel Klein on the overlap. He goes back to Arzani. Douglas Luiz into the box, has the shot, but it's straight at Leno. A really good move, but the shot was feeble in the end. It's Rodriguez winning it back for Da Silva. Long ball over the top for McDonough. Nearly half an hour in now, and it's not really been any great chances in this game, just lots of half ones. Maitland-Niles on the edge though shoots, and just wide of the post the keeper was scrambling, but it remains goalless with half an hour on the clock. We've got warnings to close down the likes of Nelson, which we'll do, but fingers crossed we can see this out to half time. It's Arzani on the right. He's lost out to Da Silva. Very strange time to come back again. But Douglas Luiz wins it for Arzani. Can we finally build another attack? We look really confident in possession. 67% of it we've had so far. And all of our shots have been on target. Though none have forced a great save from the keeper. Iwobi goes to Sigurdsson again. One of them could pop a long shot from 25 yards. We've already seen Sigurdsson do it once. Arzani and Wilson play a 1-2. We just can't get between the lines. Arsenal are so deep. They're so defensive we can't get in. But we've done it now with Ricker on the left, into Arzani who scores. What a pass that was by Iwobi. Just broke the defensive line with that reverse inside pass. Ricker's on the overlap, crosses it across the box. Brilliant low driven ball. And there were two in there. It went past Wilson, but Arzani tapped it in. And we deservedly leave with 5 to the break. McDonough's charging through at the other end. A solo effort straight at the keeper. And a good save from Raya to hold it at the first attempt. We're delighted with this first half performance. And I think we could be in for another trip to Wembley, though at least this time we would have earned it ourselves. The corner comes in at the near post from Arsenal though. They head it wide. A really poor chance to concede, but luckily for us it was wasted. We've just about reached the half-time whistle, and we couldn't be much more pleased with where we are at the moment. Let's go and talk to the lads then. If we keep 68% of the ball in the second half, Arsenal will find it very hard to create chances. We're going to tell the lads to keep it up. They're delighted with that, and we've just got to make sure we keep ourselves in the ascendancy. If we step off the gas against a side like Arsenal, we'll certainly be punished for it. But I've got to say with these lads, the last month and a half or so, they've really come to the party. And we said in the early episodes when we were really struggling, we were getting dragged back towards the relegation zone as we tried to settle in at the new club. I just said if we can get the goal scorer moving, we'll be in really good form and we'll be able to do well. And as soon as Wilson and Iwobi have started scoring, we've gone flying up the table just like that. And Wilson's in again. Oh, it's magnificent to watch. I'm enjoying this already. Iwobi cuts in from the left, finds the through ball for Callum Wilson in the right channel, and he never looked like missing. Sigurdsson now with a free kick just 2 minutes later. What a goal that is. It's 4 minutes in fact. I didn't realise how quick the gaps were between the highlights. highlights. But what a free kick from Sigurdsson, and we lead 3-0 at the Emirates in the FA Cup quarter-final. And I know we've said Arsenal aren't quite the same force, but this is ridiculous. McDonough's in the other end, Rick has got an own goal. That's a bit unfortunate, and I hope that doesn't change the game. Straight from the kick-off, Arsenal have got one back, but it's still 3-1 and we're in the ascendancy. It's Raya with a goal kick out to the left. Congolo's bringing it forward. We're really starting to look like a proper football inside now. I'm starting to put my mark on this Newcastle team, and our director of football's helping us with that too. Harzani tries to slide it in for Wilson, but it's a poor ball, and now Vargas and Xhaka can bring it away on the left. He goes long to McDonough. He's in again. I'm starting to get worried now. Raya makes an unbelievable save, but we've got to tell the lads to concentrate. They shouldn't be conceding chances that easily. Vargas crosses, but Raya claims, and after them getting in behind twice, we're going to change our out of possession tactic and drop our defensive line a bit deeper. We're not getting in behind, we're just keeping possession, and it seems pointless us trying to defend so high when all they're doing is a long ball over to the quick man. Half an hour to go though, and it remains 3-1. A remarkable performance from the lads so far. We've got another free kick with Sigurdsson on the right. Oh, Leno's forced into a save. Just 10 minutes to go. We've normally made changes by now, but I don't want to risk it in this one. We'll leave them until the last possible minute and then just get a few lads a standing ovation off the pitch. 5 to go. Let's make the first of those changes then. We'll make them all slightly separately. Iwobi on the left is tired. We're going to bring on Lavinas for him. Sigurdsson goes across one, as does Arzani, and we'll carry on from there with Lavinas as a winger on support. Arzani can go into his advanced playmaker role that he prefers, and Sigurdsson's comfortable as an inside forward. 2 more minutes and we'll make another sub. Let's do that now then. We're just trying to slow the pace of the game down without physically time wasting. Rivera can come on for Danilo, who's been brilliant today, and he can actually stay in that deep line role this time. We'll see how he manages there. And then we've got 2 more minutes before we make another sub. We're into stoppage time as this one's made, and we're going to see out the game comfortably. What a performance from the boys. 2.5 minutes of stoppage time left. We'll give Sigurdsson a little rest. Who do I want to bring on? In fact, no, we're not. We're going to bring on Declan Greenwood. That's what we're about here. Nathaniel Klein's going to come off and Greenwood will get an appearance. I presume it will be his debut for Newcastle. Let's have a look if he's played again before. Not played in a league for sure, and he's never played a cup game either. So Declan Greenwood gets his Newcastle debut. That'll get the fans home happy if they're not happy enough at the 3-1 win in the FA Cup. Lavinas flicks on a long kick by the keeper. It's headed out for a throw-in, and it's going to be game over. What a wonderful performance away from home. The perfect away cup tie. Wonderful control performance, and despite that silly own goal at the end, we've absolutely dominated the game and really deserved to go through. We gave a kid their debut, and it's a shame it wasn't Chapman, but we couldn't be more happy with how this day's gone. No injuries, 3 goals, a comfortable win, and we're in the FA Cup semi-final. So normally that would be the end of the episode, but we'll be back in a moment for the draw for the semi-final to see who we're going to be facing at Wembley. See you in a second for that one. We're back for the final part of the episode then, and it looks like it's a relatively friendly draw. If we could avoid Spurs, we may well be in an FA Cup final, and I thought I was going to speak too soon when I saw that Spurs got through as well. But if we could win the FA Cup, what an achievement that would be, and what a decision it would have been to move to Newcastle then. Let's see if we can avoid Spurs though. I'm sure knowing our luck we'll probably draw them, but fingers crossed we can avoid it. Let's have a look then. First team out of the hat is Newcastle United. Who are we going to get? Anyone but Spurs. We're at home to Millwall of the Premier League, but they're right down there near the bottom. So that means Southampton have got Tottenham, and if Southampton can pull off a shock there, they're 6th in the Premier League. Tottenham are 5th, so actually it doesn't make much difference. But Millwall are down in 18th, and if we do everything right in this one, we could be in an FA Cup final for the first time in this series. A major domestic cup final wouldn't go amiss, and more importantly now, due to our good run in the league, we can really focus on it moving forward. So a fantastic tie for us to get. We'll be at Wembley for the FA Cup semi-final, and I'll tell you what, that might as well be the next episode. I was going to leave it all the way to the end of the season, but we've got to find out if we're going to get to a Wembley final. What's going on there? 2 home games in a row against Derby. Is that because of the FA Cup game that's been moved? It is. So the FA Cup game will be on the Saturday and Derby will be in midweek. So they're actually our next 2 games, and we may well show them on camera. We'll definitely do the Millwall game, and then depending on how eventful it is, we can show you some Premier League action too. But a massive thanks for watching this episode as always. If you did enjoy it, please put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know down in the comments what you think of our side? Can we make it to the FA Cup final? And what do you think of the work our director of football's done so far? It seems that the tactic we've got here is working beautifully, so I'm not going to amend too much for now. It's just changing our second defensive midfielder as and when we need to. Subscribe to the channel for daily FM19 content from my 2 long-term stories. This one, The Head Coach, where we're currently with Newcastle United, and in our other series, Part of the Furniture, where we're trying to take Torquay to the top of English and European football. But a massive thanks for watching and your continued support with the series as always. I really do appreciate it, and we'll see you next time for a Wembley semi-final from the FA Cup.